Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today, I have some very special guests here on the channel. My good friend Fred, who I've known for a long time. He's been coming in Moss for a heck of a long time, and he and I have known each other forever. And his daughters are amazing, and they have a YouTube channel and an awesome social media following. They're called the Survival Sisters. They're doing some awesome stuff. Thanks so much for coming by and hanging out with me, Fred.
Oh, Eric,
it's been a while.
It's been a while. But like I said, they've been dying to get out. We've been coming to the range days, and so that's why I gave you a call, so that way we connect, because that way they could see individually how things are done.
Right on. Yeah, y'all seen how we move all the cameras around. It's a lot to it, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So let's go around the table and everybody introduce themselves.
Okay. Well, I'm Fred. I'm a dad.
I'm Charlie.
I'm Kennedy.
And I'm Naomi.
And we're the Survival Sisters.
Right on. That's got some Charlie's Angels vibe going on there. I love it. So, how long y'all been shooting?
I shot my first rifle when I was 4, wasn't it? And it was an MP322, and we were on our balcony, and then my dad had threatened that if we kept playing with this egg, that he was gonna break it, and we kept playing with the egg. But yeah, I was 4, and then Naomi was about to turn 5, and then she was gonna turn 4, and then Charlie just shot her first gun when I don't know, what age were you?
2, 3.
No, you did not.
Yeah, that's when he started learning about guns.
Oh,
he
started
learning about it, but I don't know.
She was like one of the little ducklings, so she had to come along with everybody else, because they were already shooting by that time.
Well, I noticed at range day, when we were hanging out, I would be looking across the line, and y'all would be out there, and it's funny, you'd see an adult, all these tall people, and you look down, and there's just these little girls shooting these machine guns. I'm thinking, what in the heck is going on here? What is going on? And y'all were handling them like it wasn't nobody's business. How does it make you feel to have that kind of firepower in your hand and be in control? Is it a good feeling?
It's a good feeling. It's very, very good.
Well, it must be very special to have a father like Fred. He's been a great dad. I mean, he has taught y'all so much. So tell me a little bit about so how's this been going with the channel? I mean, y'all started making videos. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about how things got started for you.
Well, I think what happened was, like I say, when me and their mom got divorced, we were sitting around the table and we were just recollecting. And Kennedy had said to me, she said, Dad, we were watching Facebook, and she was like, Dad, I don't ever remember us being that happy. And so when I saw the Facebook post, I said to myself, oh, well, you'll never have to worry about it again. We're going to make sure we just take every member and make it happen. And so that's why we've been posting. A lot of people think we train, we teach, we don't. This is just, me giving them an opportunity to be able to look back like a time capsule over life and look and see what we're doing. Because this is what we do. This is not like we just put it on.
That's how we got started. So Chad and I just started putting together videos and putting them on the internet. And it was really for us to just kind of document things we already been doing, and we could kind of look back on it and go, oh, remember that thing we did? But after a while, we kind of determined if people sort of live vicariously through the things that we do, and I'm honored for that people love what we do. But y'all are going to be looking back on all of this one day when y'all are adults and thinking, wow, we had a really cool upbringing. I mean, isn't that cool that y'all have access to so many cool things that not many little girls get to play with, and y'all get to play with some cool hardware. But y'all don't just do guns, though.
No.
What's some of the other stuff y'all are into?
I'll let them tell you. Go ahead.
We're having a camp this weekend, and it kind of tells us everything that we do. But we do stuff like medical, health. So we do classes teach about the different types of guns.
We do self-defense classes, and so in our camp, we're also teaching other families about different type of scenarios. So if it did happen, then you'll be able to prepare for it. So we basically do that, but in our home. So we know what to do.
And then Charlie, you could say the last thing.
And we do ditch medicine and camping.
Ditch medicine. Mm-hmm. You said ditch medicine.
Ditch medicine.
So what's ditch medicine?
A lot of people do stop the bleed. Which is cool. Stop the bleed is cool, and that's one of those things where we know the EMS is coming. We know the EMS is coming. But let's say if it was a survival situation or a grid down situation, and it was long term. We had to go find a doctor, not that the doctor was coming in an hour or whenever. And so ditch medicine, we prepare people to think about the longevity of what happened if you got a wound, you got sick, not just the bullet wound, but anything, And so we do that ditch medicine because it doesn't look pretty. It's not right. Like I said, we may have you end up using duct tape and super glue, but it's ditch medicine. It's going to keep you alive.
Adapt and overcome.
Yes.
If all you got is some gauze and duct tape, guess what? You got to try to find a way to make it work while you're waiting on help to arrive. So that's smart. I like that idea. Ditch medicine. And so the survival, y'all doing shelters and stuff and doing primitive camping and all that too?
Yeah, and he taught us about the type of medicines that you take when something happens, because a lot of people, when they get injured, they don't know like the type of medicine that you need for like a wound, or if you're sick or like stuff like that. Some people like just use like whatever it says on the bottle, but there's some antibiotics you need like that you wouldn't think about using, but they actually help. So we started doing that when I was in 6th grade, so that we do that too.
Awesome. So are any of your other friends into this kind of stuff too? So when you go to school and you hang out, you're talking to other girls at school or other little boys, do they know that y'all do this? What do they think about it?
They know, but they don't really do it.
Really?
Like, my friends don't really do it.
They think it's cool, but their parents won't allow it.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Their dad's not as cool as y'all's dad.
Yeah.
Y'all need to tell them that. So you need to go. Y'all need to come to a class. You need to invite them out. Come hang out. What do they say if you invite them out? Their parents won't let them.
There's a lot of people at my school. Their parents don't really believe in like guns because of gun violence. But I try to explain like to my friends too. Like, everything is a weapon. Like, guns are violent if you make it violent. Like, you just have to learn how to use it. And most people are afraid of guns because they're uneducated. So you really just have to be educated on it, because especially with parents that keep their kids away from guns. But like, anywhere, even if you like hide your kid from a rifle, they're going to find it eventually. And it's like the more curious they are, the more they're going to be drawn to it. And that's when accidents happen. So I'd support more if you teaching your kid even the basic fundamentals of a rifle or a gun.
Oh, that is so heartwarming. That makes me so happy to hear her say that, because we've been preaching that to people for decades. I mean, you and I have been trying to jam this through people's heads forever. And it's just, firearms are inherently dangerous objects. They are, just like a car is. I can get in my car, and if I get drunk and go do something stupid, guess what? I can hurt someone. I can hurt myself. There are plenty of ways that the world can harm us. But when you're in control, when you have the knowledge, when you know how to use this tool effectively, you are not owned by this tool. You own this tool. You are the operator. You become the master of that tool. And if you're not afraid of it, you're in control. Control is a powerful thing, isn't it? You were controlling this machine gun well earlier. Y'all were having fun.
Yeah.
And y'all knew what you were doing. You were hitting your targets. You were acquiring the sight picture. You were controlling the recoil. And isn't that a good feeling to know that you have the knowledge and the capability to protect yourself?
Yeah.
Doesn't that empower you? Does it make you feel like you can take on the world?
Yeah. And just because, like, we shoot guns, it doesn't mean that we're violent. As my dad says, like, we know violent. Because, like, anything can be a weapon. Like, you can make anything into a weapon. Because, like, even if you don't have a gun and someone broke into your house, you can make anything a weapon to stop the intruder from getting you. So, just because you shoot guns, that does not mean you're violent. It means you know violence. It means you know how you can protect yourself in any situation.
And I try to explain to people, like, I'm not training gunfighters. You know what I'm saying? That's not what I do. I'm not training people to hurt people. I'm training and preparing my kids to solve problems. They're problem solvers. So this is not like, this is a tool. This is not a weapon. It's a weapon if you're a weapon. But if not, it's a problem solver. So my thing is, if I don't have a problem, I have to solve it. So the thing about it is we're giving them ways to be able to process. So that way, you know what, when I see something and then I need to deal with it, I can decide if I'm going to use a tourniquet or if I'm going to use a gun. It just depends on what the problem is. But we're not actively looking for anything. And like she keeps repeating, we're not violent people, but we know violence. The world knows violence. And sometimes you have to match energy.
And sometimes violence finds you, and you have to meet that violence with equal, or I suggest greater amount of violence than what finds you. I think you'll understand that.
I don't believe that objects are weapons. I think that humans are weapons, because if everybody just looked at an item as an item, it wouldn't be seen as a weapon or seen as dangerous. The fact that we are dangerous, like if people take guns away, then it's going to be a thing about knives, and if they take knives away, it's going to be a thing about forks, and then it's just going to go on and on and on to the point where it's nonsense. So if you just have knowledge on an item, it won't be a weapon unless you're a weapon and you make it an item to yourself to be a weapon.
And I feel like even if you don't, like, have a whole bunch, because you don't have to have a whole bunch of guns, but even if you don't, I feel like you should still have at least one and know how to use it, because, like, if you go anywhere, I promise you, like, at least one person has a gun, because, like, if you get caught in a situation, like, not everyone's going to have the same mindset that guns are bad. So at least one person's going to have a gun. And if you know how to use your gun, then you can stay in a safe place where you can't get hurt.
Everybody thinks guns are bad until they need one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Fred. I love it. Mm-hmm. I love it.
And listen to the little one. Go ahead. Tell them.
Normally there's people that know guns and like guns. And the difference... people that know guns, they're most likely not going to get hurt. But people who just like guns and probably don't know as much, they probably have a higher chance of being hurt by the thing that they're using. Especially if they are using it to be bad, like trying to rob stuff in people like that. It's not like people are... like, it's people that are the, like, violent, not the instrument. Or, like, whatever you call it. It's not the instrument, it's the people that are using the instrument.
So when you hear that these politicians and everything want to pass laws that make guns harder to get or to try to, change age restrictions and all of this stuff, how does it make you feel when you hear these people talk about trying to take away people's Second Amendment rights?
Okay. Well, I have to add.
I got to feel this is going to be good.
Okay.
Let me just get ready.
What I have to add to this is that I feel like no matter what you do, it's just like, I don't think politicians realize that just because you make more and more and more laws, people see them as ridiculous and they're going to break them. So I feel like instead of saying guns are bad and teaching people that guns are violent, you should be having, like, I feel like personally there should be a class in school where they teach you guys about guns so kids won't be as curious. Because if a kid is curious, they literally play video games all day, or they see them online, or they see people posing with them. And it's just like, that's why you guys get the idea that guns are bad, when you guys should be teaching the 5 fundamental rules of how to handle a gun if it's in your control, because then a kid is going to have a common knowledge if it's in their face and other kids are around them to pick up the gun and move it to a safer place than just be curious. So I feel like politicians should just realize that if everybody would understood what a gun was and understood how it's not a weapon unless you make it a weapon, I feel like the world would just be so much safer, because people wouldn't be in fear of weapons or people who know weapons, because everyone would be educated on it. Because if you're educated, you won't have fear for anything. So, cause it's like the same thing with a gun. Like if you fear a dog, you're not going to want to handle a dog, or you're not going to want to have a dog. But if you are educated on how to handle dogs or train a dog, you're going to want a dog. So it's the same thing with weapons.
I agree. I mean, imagine, think about like people getting car wrecks. Mm-hmm. Continue. We'll get into the car wrecks next.
So, like, adding on what she said, even if they, like, ban guns and everything, I'm not saying that it will be true, but I'm pretty sure that someone's going to find a way to get a gun one way or another. So I think it's better for everyone to have their own way to feel safe and their own way to be protected, because even if nobody finds out how to get a gun, somebody's going to create a weapon. Like, there's so many different ways that you could create a weapon. Like, you could, like, break pipes, and that could be, like, a deadly weapon. Like, so even if they do ban guns or they have more restrictions on guns, they're going to find more ways to create weapons. So there's really no point, because another weapon versus a gun, like, that's worse than a gun versus a gun. Because what if they ban guns and an intruder comes to your house and they found a way to get a gun, and all you have is, like, something that you got out of your garage? Then that wouldn't really be a fair fight. Then what could have happened if they both had guns?
That's right.
Yeah.
Got anything, Trey?
Well, I mean, for me, it's one of those things where this is what we have to be careful with, and I think people miss this. Americans are not violent people. We like guns. There's no point about it. But there are third world countries where people build stuff and they don't have guns. And those things that they build take out more people than guns do. Yeah, we've had mass shootings. I understand. However, but you know what though? Those can be stopped by other people with guns. Right. But now you've been away. You've been to Iraq. people strap stuff to them, and guess what? It becomes something that you cannot stop.
That's right.
So what we don't want people to do in America is get creative like that. So if you letting them have guns and letting them go out and shoot and have a good time, and like we said earlier, when you're talking about the gun culture and you're talking about people, there's so many different facets of gun in its culture. People love to show them off. This is a museum. This is a library. This is not a collection. A gun's a library. Every gun has a story.
That's
but
right.
I guarantee if you go to any country, when they get creative because they're desperate and they want to protect themselves, they find other alternate means to harm people. So we have to start with this misconception that guns are bad. I guarantee you, if we had a conversation with this gun right now, the gun would not say anything. But people feel like that's it. People have these ideas in their head when they see people who shoot guns, like these kids. We've been on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We ghost block, they shadow ban, they do all this stuff. And my thing is it's not like
you're
that.
Trying to spread a positive message.
That's it.
What the message y'all are spreading is important, and more people need to know about it. I mean, think about, I was making the comparison earlier to cars, okay? Mm-hmm. People die in car wrecks. Mm-hmm. It happens, right? It's unfortunate. But what do, right? We try to learn how to drive better. Mm-hmm. We try to be more attentive. We look both ways. Mm-hmm. We go through every possible scenario we can to make sure that we're safe in our vehicles and that we don't, ultimately run into some issue where we might get in a car wreck and potentially die in a car wreck.
Exactly.
But it doesn't keep people from driving, does it?
No.
We know the danger. We know that driving's dangerous, but we still do it because it's a part of everyday life. And guns are the same way. We educate ourselves. We try to make sure that bad people, look, if someone wants to try to do something bad, what are we going to do? We're going to do something more bad in return and stop them people from doing it.
Exactly.
Right? But we mitigate those risks by training, by making sure we're proficient, by making sure we have, good medical training that we can stop the bleed. I mean, if you are willing to put a hole in somebody, you got to also be willing to stop the bleed as well. So I think medical is very important. So y'all are into the medical and everything as well. I mean, you mentioned the dish medicine, but what you thinking there?
Okay, so I want to add one more thing about the guns. I just feel like a whole bunch of people are a I don't like type of person. But my dad, he always taught me to not be a I don't like or I like type of person. Because what I realized about people, especially adults, is that people will always be like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, or I don't like guns, or I don't like police, or I don't like this and the third, until they need a police officer, or they need a gun, or they need something to protect themselves or protect their kids. So it's just like, what's the difference between you being in a messed up situation and needing a gun than teaching your kids the fundamental about guns so they can feel safe, or they can have the common knowledge? Because if you don't teach them, they're going to find another way to do it. That's just teenagers in general. If you don't give them an opportunity to learn and to feel safe with you and have conversations like this with you, they're going to have it with somebody else, and it might not be as productive as conversations like this.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I feel like people have stuff for to make their home safe, but they don't have a gun. Like, people have security cameras and alarm systems, but what if you look at your security camera and you see a man or woman in your front yard that look like they're about to break into your house, or you hear the alarm system go off, but you have no way to protect yourself because you can't call the police because they're not going to be there in a split second. You have to make split second decisions to protect yourself. And if your alarm system goes off at 3 o'clock in the morning, a police officer is not going to be on their way in 0.2 seconds. So you have to make 0.2 seconds decisions to save your life or even your kid's life. Or even your kids could have to protect yourself, because what if they're at home by themselves when you're at work and they hear the alarm go off, or they look outside their window and there's someone trying to break into the house? Then they're going to have to make split-second decision, but they don't have a way to protect themselves.
And it's not even just about guns. It's about knowing if something happens in your house, you have to know what to do and what not to do, because bullets go through walls. Bullets, just because you're looking at something, it can snap on a wall. It cannot hit the person just because you're looking at it. So, clearing houses, drills, and stuff like that, I feel like that's something that you need to teach your kids too, because if they are in that situation, they'll know how to, look behind a corner without putting their head in it and something happening to them, or knowing how to hit somebody without, or if they have to, without, actually going through a wall and hitting their sibling. There's a lot of things that you have to think about other than just having a gun in your home, because if you just have a gun in your home, that could be a weapon, and not only the person that's breaking into your house, but also your kids, because you don't know how to handle it in your home, because you don't know that bullets can go through walls, multiple walls at that. But I feel like that's a big thing too.
And you do realize y'all are very based, right? That's a good thing. I love it. Y'all are based. I love it.
Thank you.
Continue. I'm just loving this. I'm loving this conversation.
So, like, what my sister said about, like, if you're not trained properly, because me and my sisters just do like home training, and we would practice like not looking around the wall, because if you're not like, if you don't practice doing that, what if you look behind the wall and the intruder just shoots you in the face? Or even they don't even have to have a gun. What if they have a bat and they just hit you right in the head? What else? Because what if
you're being too hard?
I'm just saying, like, what if you're the mom and you hear the alarm go off and then you look across the wall and then bam, you're just hit in the face? What are your kids gonna do?
The only weapon that you have in your house can't be a kitchen knife, because a kitchen knife doesn't work as an actual knife that you can use to defend yourself. It can work, but it's not gonna go through, like, it's not gonna work like how an actual knife would work. So
not everybody's Steven Seagal, right?
Thank you. I feel like you guys should educate yourself.
You know who Steven Seagal is?
No.
Oh, you. All right. So earlier you mentioned something I want to double back to. I love this conversation, but I want to ask Charlie this question. Do you think that a lot of adults don't really listen to their kids when it comes to concerns like this? Do you think that they don't do a good enough job of listening to their children?
Normally they don't, because they think that they're a kid, and how they're older, that they know more than their kid, or that their kid's just speaking nonsense. So they don't really listen to their kids. So
if you could appeal to the parents out there, what would you tell all the parents out there in the world that are watching this channel? What would you tell them in terms that they could do to better make sure that all their families can be safer? I mean, I know you've mirrored probably what some of your sisters are saying here, but what would you say to them?
They need to teach their kids how to take a life and save a life, and they need to listen to their kids more.
Well, it's a two-way street. Communication's a two-way street. It's a two-way road, and whereby, yes, it is great for parents to listen to children. It's also important for that to be a two-way communication where everybody's, being an active participant in the conversation. We need more of that. What you are doing with your daughters, Fred, dude, it's so cool, man. It's so refreshing. They are so knowledgeable. And I remember, did you ever see the episode that I made with Autumn, Autumn's Armory?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all remember. And she's she's real little.
Yeah.
And she's just
fire.
awesome.
She's on fire.
But y'all are on the same path, and it's so cool and so refreshing to see it. I just love it. It humbles me so much to see society waking up to the importance of self-preservation, and it's what we've worked so hard over this last nearly 2 decades to accomplish. So. You're the receipt. You're the, as KD would say, you're the receipt. You're the result of that work. And it makes me proud to see it. It's awesome. I love it.
Thank you so much.
All right. So moving forward, what are some of your goals? What do you want to get better at, or any things you want to, are there things you need to get better with? Or are there some experiences you'd like to have that maybe you haven't had the opportunity to get out and do something? Like, what's something you've always wanted to go do with guns that maybe you haven't had an opportunity yet to do?
I think what I'm really good at is stance. I'm really good at like locking in and handling big guns. But I think one thing that I would like to get better at is an environment, like adjusting to environments. Because if it's too hot or too cold, like I kind of freak out. So I would like to learn how to adjust myself to that and be more mature in situations like that. Because if it's an actual situation like that I'm in like that, I can't have an option to sit down or sit in the shade or something like that. So I would like to adjust to that more. And Good. One of my goals is I want to do an interview with Glock.
Interview with Glock.
Yes.
Well, Glock's local here, so maybe we make a little phone call and maybe try to make that happen for you.
Yeah, we talked to them at Big Daddy Unlimited's Epic Shoe.
Okay.
And we talked to them, and they gave us a whole bunch of merch and everything. And we did talk to them about how we wanted to be like an interview with them and for them to sponsor us and stuff. And they said that they would talk to Dad.
Awesome. All right. Well, that good goals. Okay. And that's a cool facility, by the way. That'd be something cool to visit.
Yeah.
What about you?
So, in like short term, I want to like practice like. I want to be more open-minded to different types of guns because, like, when it comes to rifles and handguns, I'm kind of closed-minded. But I want to, like, try more guns and, like, get suitable to use different kinds of guns because sometimes I get stuck on a certain gun and be like, oh, this is a really good gun. I like using this. But, like, I feel like because when people open me up to different kinds of guns, I'm kind of, like, iffy about it. But, like, when I shoot them, I'm like, oh, this is actually really cool. So I want to be more open-minded to that. And long term, I just want to like inspire more people and other parents to like teach their kids and to like teach everyone in like the community that guns are not bad, and that even if they were bad, you shouldn't be the only one without a gun, because that is more dangerous than everyone having a gun.
And what's some experience you want to have soon? Like, what's something you'd always want to go and do related to guns?
I want to teach people and inspire people that they can learn too, and that it's not like we're like special. Like, we weren't born and just were like, oh, I can shoot. No, we had to learn and we had to practice. Even though we did it since we were little, we still had to learn and practice. And it doesn't matter how old you are. You can still go and practice so that you can be good at guns, so that you can learn how to handle guns, because they are important for saving life and taking life.
I love it.
Something I need to work on is breathing, because when I get on a rifle, sometimes I close my mouth and I don't know, it became a habit.
That's so you can focus?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd be doing that too.
I do that, and it's like I've been doing it for like a long time now, and then I need to stop doing that. And also, I need to be able to use different guns, because if I get one gun, I just stick to that one, and I need to get out more, because I didn't really like shotguns that much, and then I started liking them when we reached out to this one person. And also, I just really want to see, I want to change how people see guns and how they see kids with guns, because normally when they see that, they just think it's dangerous because people mess up with guns. But I really want to just change how they see, because they see me doing good with it and see me being safe.
What's an experience you'd like to have? Is there something you've always wanted to go do related to guns, where you're thinking, wow, that would be cool to go do? I mean, anything like that?
So we're going to hunt. You said you want to go hog hunting?
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Perfect.
Oh, wait.
You want to go hunting?
Yeah, I want to go hunting.
Are you interested in hunting?
I don't want to skin anything.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to skin anything. But one more thing that I want to say, I want to be able to teach big ego people, because I have a big ego for a girl, but that's especially in the gun community, as a girl, a female, and especially when you're young, you have to have a big ego. But I want to teach the adults that have a big ego that just because you're you're the best survivalist and you know how to handle every type of gun, I want them to be able to know, if even one person in your family doesn't know how to survive a situation like that, then you're not the best. Everybody in your family has to know what to do in a situation like that, because one person will completely slow you down. Because my dad taught me when I was little. I remember we were on Stone Mountain. My dad was like, you can be the fastest track runner, you could be the best runner, you could be the best pace walker, but it's if one person is injured, that's the pace you have to go. So if one person's messed up, you're all messed up. So you have to teach everybody in your household, no matter if they're 60 years old, you have to teach the grandma, you have to teach the babies, you have to teach the toddlers, you have to teach everybody.
Fred, your little girl's throwing shade, brother.
Sorry.
Dude, I love it. I love it. Throwing shade. I love it.
To what Candy said, what if it doesn't even have to be in your home, because there is not going to be a situation where everything is in your home. What if there's two shooters in the grocery store and you're trying to protect your daughter and you do have a gun, and one shooter's on the aisle that you're looking down and you're pointing the gun there, and another intruder just comes and hits you in your head, and then you're down, and then your children, it doesn't matter how many there are, they're just stuck there because they don't know what to do. So even if you don't train everyone, you're endangering your life and your children's life. Or it doesn't matter if you're with your grandma, they should, everyone should have an experience where they were trained, because you do not have to be in your home. Your home will not be the only place that this will happen.
Well, let me just jump in just, I guess what they're trying to say and just totally bring home. It's just like I told you, my brother, when he went to combat, he didn't take his family with him. He was other team guys. He's now, this guy, you talking about somebody who was 7th Group Special Forces. Okay, so he didn't go with his wife. But if he comes home and his wife and his son are at the mall and it goes down, it's not going to be on me and everybody with me unless they've been trained to do that.
That's right.
So they
can be trained.
They can be trained. So if you have failed to train the individuals in your home to work as a unit, I'm not saying you have to be prepared for combat. We're talking about solving problems.
That's right.
Solving problems. We're in the mall. A shooter comes in the mall. Now it's time for us to solve this problem. Not that you have to be violent, but let's solve this problem. How do we get from point A to point B without being a victim? That's all we're trying to promote. The thing that with the survivors is changing the narrative. We're trying to change the narrative. People, when these kids started, Eric, they would come online and it was all these guys who would from the baby boom era. Oh, you don't know what you're doing. This. They're not training people. They're training. They may not get it all right because they're working on getting it right. But you're talking about
start somewhere.
You're talking about kids who they're going too slow. Yes, they're going to go slow. Because if they weren't going slow, you would complain about the safety. If they were going too fast, you complain about that. Like, there's nothing to make you happy. Because we're not doing it for them, we're doing it for them. Because they have to be that mediator.
Always take that positive reinforcement.
Mm-hmm.
You know, take the positive reinforcement, apply it, ignore the haters, because there's always going to be haters. So before we wrap up here, where can everybody find you? Where's all the places y'all post?
Okay, so Instagram is Survival Sisters 3. YouTube is The Survival Sisters, and Facebook is The Survival Sisters. And my dad has all his contact information is on there, so you can reach out to him if you want to do a collab or something like that. So we can reach out to many of you guys, even if you guys just want to come to a camp or something. But yeah, so.
And also we have merch. We all have like the Survival Sisters shirt on, and you can get that at thesurvivalsisters.bigcartel.com.
Look at that. Got the merch going.
We don't just
I love
have
it.
shirts. We have like beanies and hoodies, and we have also shirts for dads who also want to train their daughters or their sons to do that. We have like dad shirts like that.
Got the merch going. Y'all are going places. I love it. I love it. So y'all can check down in the description box and get all of their particulars. Make sure you go and follow them. Fred, thanks for coming down hanging out today.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
And girls, I hope you had a great time. Look, I know it was hot outside, but y'all did great.
We
y'all
had
were
a
shooting.
fun time because we would have never thought to shoot whipped cream or like watermelons. We were so confused when we first went out there, but it was so fun. It was a lot of adjusting, but we had a really good time. And thank you for having us.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And y'all are welcome down here anytime. We'll come down and do some barbecue, do some shooting. Maybe in the fall when it's a little cooler, y'all can camp out here on the property if you want to. We'll have a good time. So thank y'all so much for coming and hanging out. And don't be a stranger. You let me know anytime. I know y'all are local. You just hit me up anytime. But thanks, guys, for tuning in. I wanted to share these wonderful people, y'all, because I think they're a group of people y'all need to know about. And please go support them. Go follow them on social media. Support their efforts. It's so humbling to see what they're accomplishing, and I think they're going to go far in life, and I'm looking very forward to seeing their progression and their training and their knowledge and their willingness to share that knowledge with others. So thank y'all very much for watching. Y'all, thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. Many more videos on the way. We'll see you soon. Also, quick plug for my merch. Okay, you can go to Ballistic Inc. to our t-shirt shop. We've got a bunch of great shirts for sale. Every shirt purchase helps support the channel. Obviously, pick yourself up a Survival Sisters t-shirt as well. All right, all those links are down in the description box below. Have a great day. Many more videos on the way. Make sure you click the notification bell and subscribe. We'll see you soon. Say bye, everybody.
Bye.